What song cover is so famous, most people don't know it's a cover? Respect, Aretha Franklin. Originally by Otis Redding. When Airbay legend Otis Redding, who wrote and first recorded Respect, heard Aretha Franklin's version of the song, he reportedly said, "Well, I guess it's that girl's song now." Source: essentially the same as what Bob Dylan said about Hendrix's version of All Along the Watchtower. And St. Dolly Parton about Whitney's cover of I Will Always Love You. I think Dolly's version is much sweeter. Whitney's is obviously epic, but I don't think it communicates the spirit of the song so well. Soft Cell, Tainted Love. House of the Rising Sun, covered by the Animals. I read somewhere that nobody really knows who wrote the song. Yep, it's a traditional folk song. It's free real estate Dylan. Elvis' famous Hound Dog makes so much more sense sung by Big Mama Thornton. YouTube.com. Twist and Shout was originally performed by the Top Notes, which was covered by the Isley Brothers, which was covered by the Beatles, which was covered by Ferris Bueller. Santana, Black Magic Woman, original by Fleetwood Mac. And a very different Fleetwood Mac than most people remember. Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac was unbelievably cool. When the Levee Breaks. Led Zeppelin covered a 1929 song by Memphis Minnie. A lot of Zeppelin songs, really. Yeah, in interviews from the 1970s they said they couldn't understand why Americans rejected their own music and then made them famous for it. Hooked on a Feeling. Blew my mind when my mom told me the Blue Suede version was the cover. And how she felt hearing it for the first time versus the original. Edit, legitimately the most traffic I've ever had on Reddit, thanks for the awards. So if Blue Suede is a cover, who was the original? B.J. Thomas. You Don't Own Me is originally by Leslie Gore, not Say Grace. Reba McEntire's Fancy is originally by Bobby Gentry. IWLL Always Love You is a Dolly Parton dong. Girls Just Wanna Have Fun is by Robert Hazard originally. I also know Natalie Imbruglia's Torn was by someone else, but can't remember who. I didn't know there were any Dolly Parton dongs. The more you know. Dollywood was constructed to house them all. Then they made an amusement park out of it. Try a Little Tenderness. Not Elvis, not Aretha, not Otis Redding. It was written in 1932 and first recorded by the Ray Noble Orchestra that year. Till Redding forever made this his own, however. The version they did at the end of the movie The Commitments is ducking amazing. Gets the hair of the back of my neck to stand on end. Me and Bobby McGee. Everyone thinks it's a Janis Joplin song. It's really a Chris Christopherson song. He wrote it, but the original performer is Roger Miller. Chug-a-lug Chug-a-lug. They Might Be Giants Istanbul, Not Constantinople, is a cover of song from 1953 by the Four Lads. Yeah, but that's nobody's business but the Turks. Feeling Good. A bunch of people have covered it, but Nina Simone is often credited as the original. However, she actually isn't. The song was written by Leslie Bricusse and Anthony Newley for their 1964 musical The Roar of the Grease Paint, The Smell of the Crowd. But anything Nina Simone sings is the best version. All Along the Watchtower was Dylan before Hendrix. Can't forget Knockin' on Heaven's Door, too. Johnny Cash's song Ring of Fire was written by June, and was originally sung by her sister Anita. Original song, Anita Carter cover song, Johnny Cash. I Will Always Love You. Dolly Parton is a national treasure. An international treasure. I Love Rock and Roll, Joan Jett. Also Crimson and Clover. Till That Joan Jett covered Crimson and Clover. Huh. Tommy James and the Shondells are delightful. That album is my go-to summertime music. I Need a Hero Fairy Godmother. Holding Out for a Hero. It's Oh So Quiet by BJRK released in 1995, which is a cover of It's Oh So Quiet by Betty Hutton released in 1951, which is a cover of the original song Und Jetzt ist es still by Harry Winter, Hans Lang and Eric Meter released in 1948. The funniest part is that Betty Hutton's version is even more batshit crazy than BJRKS is. Black Betty by Ram Jam is a cover. Who did the original? It was an African-American work song often credited to Huddy Lead Belly Ledbetter as the author, though the earliest recordings are not by him. Some sources claim it is one of Lead Belly's many adaptations of earlier folk material. Here's what the original sounded like, U2.B. 1985, Bowling for Soup. It's actually an SR-71 song. The Bowling for Soup version came out only 1 month after SR-71's. That's kind of bullshit, especially considering how much more popular it became. I like both of those bands, but I wonder if SR-71 was pissed about the timing. Edit. NM. Just read that Mitch helped adapt it to their band, so obviously he was cool with it. SR-71 had one radio hit, which was called Right Now Irk, otherwise his band was a ghost-writing band. He wrote quite a few of those pop-punk songs. That's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. I remember MTV running infomercials for people to buy that album. I did. Now I have Right Now stuck in my head. For 42 minutes now, apparently, Me Too treats me like cellophane. But now that's over. Hi, why do you always kick me when I'm, if I? A lot of popular songs in the 80s were originally recorded by Prince. Bangles, Manic Monday George Clinton, Erotic City Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You Morris Day and the Mother Duck in Time, Jungle Love and plenty more. Chaka Khan, I Feel For You. Chaka, Chaka. Chaka Cha Cha Khan Chaka Khan. Mad World, the original by Tears for Fears is like an entirely different song from the down-tempo meme to death version. Emo the original's the best version. The manic arrangement and stabby synths play so much better against the lyrics than just playing it super straight, just stripped down and down tempo. Blinded by the Light. Manfred Mann, Springsteen. Wrapped Up Like a Douche. Another Boner in the Night? Got My Mind Set on You, George Harrison. Yeah. I only recently found this out when I saw Last Night in Soho and the original played in it. Valerie, Mark Ronson Amy Winehouse, originally by the Zootons. I heard that a music critic once said that he thought that Amy Winehouse cover was some old song from the 60s and that the Zootons version was a modern cover of the song. Video Killed the Radio Star was originally recorded by Bruce Woolley and the Camera Club, which featured Thomas Dolby on keyboards. YouTube.com. I wouldn't quite call it a cover though because Bruce Woolley wrote the song together with the two guys in the Buggles and, if memory serves me right, was originally a member of the band. He was just first to release it. Hallelujah, which is infuriating that people would think that it is from Shrek. A Whole New Generation Deaf thinks To Make You Feel My Love is an Adele song. It's a Bob Dylan tune. The generation before them thought it was a Garth Brooks tune. I feel so old after reading this thread, someone ought to cover me, lol. I feel so old after reading this thread, someone ought to cover me, lol. This is the Two Broken Thumbs cover. The original was by Mansongirl 15. Islands in the Stream was originally the Bee Gees. I heard Ghetto Superstar years before I ever heard Islands in the Stream. Confused the hell out of me when I did hear it. Back in the mid-90s when I ventured out of the confines of music my parent listened to, my dad would hear a rap song on the radio and tell me who performed the song it was sampled from. It was great to help expand my musical universe. I remember getting stoked when I was 12 because my mom was listening to Puff Daddy. Turns out she'd actually bought the greatest hits of the Police, and I became a fan. Girls Just Wanna Have Fun is not a Cyndi Lauper original. A good chunk of Cindy's first album are cover versions. Red Red Wine. Most people are familiar with the UB40 version. Another Neil Diamond song.